Good morning. I'm Carl Edwards Levy,
My name is Douglas Horne.
and welcome to the Saturday Show. And good morning to everyone where you are. And Doug, it's glad to have you back again after first time in quite a while, actually.
Yeah, I know that my camera is frozen. I don't know why that is. Always seems to happen when I'm on here. But no, it is good to be back on, and I'm looking forward to discussing today's show.
Yes, we are. We've got some huge discussions today. We're going to talk about what's been happening at Leicester. We should join Chris from LITD in the next 10 minutes or so. And then after around 11:20 so onwards, we'll have the Reese from Weekly Steel Chair talk about what's going on at Rangers and also talk about Manchester United as well. But do you know what? While we're here, let's go look at some fixtures for the next 24, 48 hours. So early today, it is the FA Cup fifth round, so there's no Premier League games on at the moment. But so we have a huge derby at 12:15. Both two derbies actually. In fact, Crystal Palace against Millwall. Wow. Preston North End against Burnley as well. Later on today, only one all-time Premier League fixture between Bournemouth against Wolves again, and back-to-back weeks. Man City at home against Plymouth Argyle. Can Plymouth Argyle do the another giant killer added into Liverpool in the fourth round? In the Scottish Premiership, Dundee at home to St Johnstone. Motherwell face a triple away to an interim manager under Barry Ferguson's first interim manager match at Ibrox for Rangers. Kilmarnock go away up to Highlands to face Ross County. St Mirren at home against Celtic in the 5:30 kickoff. In 12:30 games in the Championship, Blackburn Rovers against Norwich City. Leeds can increase their points tally later on ahead of QPR's game at QPR against West Brom. Oxford Knight against Coventry City, which is one of the 12:30 kickoffs. Portsmouth go away to Luton Town. Middlesbrough at home to Derby County. As I said, QPR at home against Sheffield United. And Stoke City against Watford. And in League One, a huge game in 12:30 kickoff. Birmingham City against Wycombe Rangers. These are the two teams are vying to get promoted, well, to be champions in League One, to be promoted back to promote to the Championship. Wrexham home to Bolton Wanderers. Lincoln City go away to Barnsley. Rotherham go down to the West Country to face Bristol Rovers. Burton Albion against Mansfield Town. Cambridge United go down to Crawley. Exeter City against Northampton Town. Leyton Orient against Charlton Athletic. Peterborough against Shrewsbury Town. Huddersfield Town go away to Stevenage, and Stockport County go to Blackpool along with Wigan Athletic against Reading. And in the 12:30 kickoffs in League Twos, Salford against Bradford City. Port Vale go away to Tranmere Rovers. And at 3 o'clock, AFC Wimbledon against Bromley. Charlton Town against Grimsby Town. Alexandra go away down to Chesterfield. Newport go up to South Yorkshire to face Doncaster Rovers. Fleetwood Town against Notts County. Morecambe go away down to Kent to face Gillingham. Accrington go up to West Yorkshire to face Harrogate Town. MK Dons against Colchester United and Warsaw against Swindon Town. And in the National League, we have Braintree Town against Eastleigh, Dagenham and Redbridge against Boston United, Tamworth go away to FC United, Forest Green Rose against Maidenhead United, Charlton Athletic against Barnet, Oldham Athletic against Barnet, Hartlepool go home against York City, Fleetwood Town, Southend United go away to Eurotown, and Gateshead against Clyde. And in the Scottish Championship, Ayr United against Adrianians, Dunfermline against Green at Morgan, Falkirk go away up to Hamilton, Raith Rovers against Queen's Park. And in League One, Our Athletic against Cove Rangers, and Athletic away to Arbroath, Dumbarton against Stonehouse Muir, Inverness Cowden Fist against Montrose, and Queen and South against Kelty Hearts. And in Scottish League Two, Edinburgh City against Stranraer, Clyde go away to Forfar Athletic, Peterhead against Elgin City, Spartans at home today against Bonnyrigg Rose, and Stirling Albion against East Fife. And go all down to look at La Liga tonight. Real Madrid got a game away at Real Betis at 5:30, and Athletic Madrid at home to Athletic Bilbao. And the big game at 5:30 later today in the Bundesliga, Eintracht Frankfurt against Bayer Leverkusen. And in Serie A, Napoli at home against Inter Milan live today at 5 o'clock, and Udinese against Parma in the 7:45 kickoff. and to tomorrow's games. Two games in the FA Cup: Newcastle against Brighton, Manchester United at home against Fulham, and then it's the 12th kickoff tomorrow in the Scottish Premiership, the Edinburgh Derby between Hibs and Hearts. These teams are going up for challenge for the top six, and Aberdeen against Dundee United at 3 o'clock. In La Liga as well, Barcelona at home to Real Sociedad at 3:15, while Osasuna at home gets Valencia in the 8 o'clock kickoff later that evening. And then two games in the Bundesliga: Union Berlin gets Holstein Kiel, and Augsburg gets Freiburg. And the big game tomorrow night in Serie A is the 7:45 kickoff between AC Milan and Lazio.
I'm still fascinated how you can actually do that. I wouldn't be able to like, read all the fixtures off. So I commend you for for doing this every single week.
Hey, I do it as best as I can. And only one game in the FA Cup in the fifth round is Nottingham Forest, all Premier League fixtures between Nottingham Forest against Ipswich Town, and then only two games in Europe is playing in Villarreal against Espanyol in the La Liga, and Juventus at home to Hellas Verona on at as well. So that's all the fixture round up, all there. Yeah, I'll give the Chris Welch. Yep, good morning to you. We're well. I should get a job at Sky Sports. Actually, yeah, I'm surprised the presenter still does it while the BBC Final
Mm.
Score has someone in the background to do it. So I could do that quite well.
Yeah. My camera is not working, but I'm delighted to say that we have our first guest on with us this morning, and it is Mr. Chris Forian from Leicester Till I Die TV.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, and I'd like to say how nice it is to be here, but I can't talking to a Leeds fan.
Well, we know we're going to be trading places next season, so
Yes, but how long are you going to be staying up for? That is the question.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
How are you both?
We're both good.
Yeah, good mate. Good to have you on. It has been a while. Sorry, you won't see my face because my camera has decided to freeze. But
you're looking well.
well, this is what I am. This is what I'm supposed to be looking like. But yeah, my camera's decided to do a freeze. So yeah.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
So, Chris, let's get into it and let's talk about Leicester. This is why we invited you on, because I think we are the top two teams that have is supposed to have Reese on after you to talk about what's going on at Rangers and the situation, and also by United. But with Leicester, you've got a tough fixture run. When Doug sent me the fixture list yesterday, I was like, brutal. That is brutal. The next run of form, because you got some tough games, but what's going on with the club? There's been a lot of protests with the fans, and then also against the transparency of the club. Questions with the director of football, John Robkin. Tell us what is going on from your side of the Leicester.
It's probably easier to say what's going right at the club than what's going wrong. I never thought that we would be in this position. I'm not saying I never thought we'd never be relegated again, but I never thought we'd be in the position as the club are playing management wise under these owners. I thought those sort of days had gone. There's mistakes been made. I mean, I said to on the show last night, and post match against West Ham, that would we sooner have Peter Taylor back than Ruud van Nistelrooy at the moment? And Peter Taylor was one of our worst ever managers and got us relegated after Martin O'Neill. And we all said yes, we would, because at least we could see what he was trying to do. Ruud, look, I don't know how I do know how he got the job, because I wanted him to get the job. I've got to say, I'd sooner have Steve Cooper back. At least, he was, confusing the opposition. He could change things around sometimes. We were getting more points. I mean, we have gone 6 or 7 home games without scoring in a losing streak. Now, that isn't just a Premier League record. That is a top flight record. That goes back to 1860, whatever it was, when the league was formed. How embarrassing is that? We're playing Man United in a couple of weeks. We could actually lose to them for a 4th time in the same season. I don't think any club's lost to another club be in the same club 4 times in one season. It is just totally embarrassing. And yet we have a manager in place that has no idea what he's doing. Absolutely, it's they say, don't they? It's insanity to keep doing the same thing week in week out and hope that the outcome's going to change. The team. It reminds me so much of Burnley last season. You've got a particular formation and he's sticking with it. But it isn't fucking, excuse my French, it isn't working.
No, you can swear. It's fine. Yeah.
It's absolutely shite. And it's been 13 games, and he's got to look at that and go, yeah, well, all right, I've won a couple of games, fair enough. But overall, the players he's got does not work into his system. So any manager that is worth his salt will be looking at it and saying, all right, that's not working. With the players I've got, what formation will work? But he won't. He won't change it. We've got a front three that are 103 years old between them. We were playing West Ham, and their strikers ran past our midfielders trying to back up. Although their players, ran past our midfielders trying to back up one of their attacks. They ran past our midfielders trying to get back to defend. What's going on? This team, it was the proverbial couldn't score in a where. They are awful. Every game I look at the moment, I go, wow, that was the worst game we've played this season, isn't it? And it can't get any worse. Oh, yes, it does. Week in, week out, it gets worse. John Rudkin is taking the blame. He's the football director. I did a programme last night with the Foxes Trust, which is an organisation that meets regularly with the club. And I said, what does he do? We're blaming him. They're saying that it's his fault. He's buying bad players. But what is his act? We don't know who does what there. Go onto the website, and it will say Susan Whelan, CEO, John Rudkin, Director of Football. Doesn't explain what the role is. Our club does not have any transparency. Now, I know the Thai people are sort of a bit more of a reserved people, and they don't like to do all the business in public. But the fans need to know what's going on. Apparently we do have a director of communications. I think it's the Invisible Man. I've no idea who it is. I've never seen him. He's never put anything out. It's just a mess. And Top, I don't want to change the owner. I know a lot of people are having to go at Top. I do not want to change this owner. I would sooner have this owner and go down than have the Glaziers and Ineos and have sort of mid-table mediocrity week in, week out. Because these owners love the club, or appear to be. They put a lot of money into the into the non-footballing side of the county, but they need to grow a pair, and they need to make. And Top needs to say, right, thanks guys, you've stuck by me. We've had the success with you. You stuck by me when my dad had that awful accident, but we need to change things. But he hasn't got the balls to do it, but I wish he had. But we're going down. We've got the EFL waiting for us with management plans, transfer embargoes, points deductions. We ain't coming back up for 10 seasons. Chris Forey, news at 10.
I've got to say though, I was watching the West Ham game, and I suppose all credit has to go to Thomas Souček, because obviously, if anyone doesn't know, Thomas Souček obviously does it's like a helicopter sort of celebration, but he decided, because it's Leicester City and because all happened to obviously Vishai, he basically refrained from doing that. So I thought that was a real touch of class.
Out as well, saying totally respect this guy. That guy had more respect than any Leicester City player that wore that blue shirt.
That's a statement, yeah. Your colleague Kate wrote this on the BBC the other day, as Van Nistelrooy given up. This is what she said, and the biggest concern is about the performance is potentially being a culture issue. It is no secret that standards create behaviour, which creates a culture. I feel Leicester standards has fallen so far in recent years that a new culture has emerged is not good.
And she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Look, we're very fickle football fans. I wanted Cooper in. I wanted Cooper out. I wanted Rude in. I want Rude out. You know, we just need. We were never going to get David Moyes. We were never going to get Graham Potter. It looked good when we got Ruud van Nistelrooy. It was the name, but he hasn't. I don't. They're just not playing for him. It was just embarrassing watching that West Ham game. The players just could not be bothered. They could not be bothered. The guy who went to the match for, and he does my man of the match and team rating, he's in his 70s, bless him, so he's seen it all, and he goes to every home and away game, season ticket holder. And he actually, for the first time in the 5 years that he's been doing it for me, I got no man of the match, and I got 0 out of 10 for the team performance.
Wow.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
But all we're hearing from Ruud van Nistelrooy, he's turning around and saying, we're going to do another Great Escape. Are we bollocks? Because I tell you what, the last time we did the Great Escape, we had players that cared. We had a manager that would try different things. It was only by him changing that we actually stayed up. Left it a bit late, I grant you. But he actually admitted and didn't want to change, but he did change, Nigel Pearson. This team, they haven't got an tenth of the fight and the passion that team had. And then he's coming out with like, well, we're going to start playing youth soon. I'm going to put these two players. He actually named the two players he was going to put in the team from the youth squad. And then only one of them appeared. And he didn't even get any minutes on the grass at all. He's a, excuse my French again, he's a bullshitter. And basically, he's taking up another manager's oxygen. He's depriving another human being of having oxygen by actually spouting this rubbish. And I just want, why are we giving these managers 3-year contracts? Get somebody in. If that's Sean Dyche, so be it. I tell you what, he'd get at least stop us conceding all these bloody goals, I hope. And just give him a thing. And if he says, oh, he won't come until the end of the season, give him £1 million. Anybody will take £1 million for 12 weeks' work and maybe a bonus if he keeps us up, and then negotiate.
That was what we did under Big Sam, and look how that turned out. So, yeah.
Well, it's not guaranteed necessarily. We did it with Dean Smith, and it didn't work out. But we're going down anyway. This team ain't not staying up. Thank God Southampton are worse than us.
Oh, don't get me started on Southampton. I could honestly, I honestly think they are the worst team I've ever seen in the Premier League.
Worse than Derby.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with Southampton is that I said this earlier this season, and I've said it to a lot of people. They never look prepared going up. I watched that playoff final again. It's on like Now TV. It's obviously on there, and I seen like Adam Armstrong obviously scoring the winning goal. Had Leeds gone up, I think Leeds would have had a much better show of it than Southampton. Southampton have been an absolute disgrace, and I don't even want to say it, but I think they've done the wrong mistake in sacking Russell Martin.
Yeah.
Keep Russell Martin until the end of the season. See what happens. But this guy that's come in, Juric or whatever his name is, he got sacked at Roma for the same reason that Southampton are appointed them for, losing matches. And it's not just losing matches; it's getting gubbed, like 4-0 by Chelsea, 4-0 by Brighton. They go to Liverpool next, the champions elect. Who knows? Someone actually said, I would not be surprised if we see another 9-0 coming this season. Could be potentially Liverpool Southampton.
Thing is, though, right? This is the Southampton, as bad as they are, and I never thought that. I mean, is it 11 points that Derby got? That's the record. And we all thought Southampton would at least get to that, but they're at 9, so who knows? But this is a Southampton, as bad as we're all saying they are. They were 3-0 up against Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got lucky. Or was it 2-0 up? I think it was 2-0 up, and we won 3-2. But that, that's how bad we are. Does it say? The question is, does it say more about the difference between the Championship and the Premier League? and the fact that the 3 teams that come up for the second year running might be the 3 teams that go down. I don't know if it does. I think it just says more about the clubs that are coming up. Look, Everton made the right decision and they got the right manager in.
Yeah.
West Ham, right decision, right manager in. Palace, right decision by not changing the manager. And look where they are now. Southampton, Ipswich, we're never going to get rid of McKenna, and he's a great manager. Leicester and Southampton changed managers, and it hasn't worked. And that's the gamble. But yes, we don't want to become a Watford and have three managers in a season, but what else have we got to do? What else can we do? Because this manager is not going to pick a team that gives us any chance of even scoring.
Yeah. Well, speaking of someone who is having probably just as worse a season as Mr. Chris Florian, we've been joined by Mr. Reese Russell, who is a Manchester United fan and a Rangers fan. Good morning, Reese. How you doing?
Hello, Reese.
How's it going?
Yeah, there you are now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking about the struggles of Leicester City. I mean, look, Reese, from an outsider's point of view, what have you made of Leicester City this season?
Ooh.
Be nice. Be nice, Reese.
Switch this into dark mode first. All right. Want me to be completely honest? Leicester are exactly what I said they were going to be. I mean, it's no disrespect, really. It's just that I didn't think they were going to amount to anything. Because I don't think they were prepared for the Premier League. And I think it's Maresca's fault.
Mm-hmm.
I actually blame Enzo Maresca for bailing out on Leicester after a single season. I think the bald-headed fool should have waited. I think it's actually his fault. Personally, I think if he had stayed a year, then went to Chelsea, then Leicester wouldn't be in the relegation fight. Leicester would be about 12th in the league.
I don't think we would be. I think if we had Enzo, because we are still playing the same formation, the same style that Enzo was playing. All right, we might have different players. We might not have a front three that are 103 years old. I mean, I'm looking at it now thinking, oh my God, I wish we'd got a points deduction. At least we could blame that. But we can't even blame that. We are rubbish. We are where we deserve to be.
Oh, I agree, yeah.
And it's, I mean, I'd swap with Man United. I know you're having a bad season, and you could argue that you're having a worse season because your expectations are higher.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd swap with you now. I'd swap managers. I'd even take Eric Ten Hag. Anybody but Rude.
I don't blame you. I think Rude's actually... I think the problem is at United there would have been little expectation because he's an interim manager and it's the Premier League. It's his first actual job in the Premier League. I don't think anybody really would have came at him. I don't think it would have been a problem. Whereas he's taken the Leicester job and he's got so much more to lose. I think, especially when Leicester are in such a situation where they can't physically recover with him. And again, this is not down to him. I think he's actually started quite well, but it kind of dipped off really quickly. And I think that's the problem is once the first loss got heavy, it just built from there. And I don't necessarily think these players are playing for him. You know what I mean? I think that's even worse. And
I don't think the players are playing at all, to be honest with you. I mean, I said to a friend the other day, stick a couple of the women in the team because they've got more balls than the men have. He's a manager, and if the players are not performing on the pitch, and I know it's not his team, and we had an awful window again because of PSR, etc., and whatever, but he's still the manager. And if things aren't working, as I've said before, if things aren't working, change so that those players that are there will play better. It's just maybe a lot of it is the formation. I could tell you now the starting 11 for Chelsea in 10 days' time because it's the same starting 11 that he's played virtually, apart from one or two players, every week for the past 11 games that we've lost or whatever. So I can tell you what the team is. Anybody else would be going, actually, this isn't working. We've got some good youngsters. Well, man, let's just throw them in. Let's just throw them in and see what they can do. But, when you've got Jamie Vardy, you're relying on a 38-year-old striker who's getting 4 or 5 touches a game because we're not getting the ball to him.
Do you think any of your signings last summer have been a success? Because I look at the signings you made. Obviously, Bonotti, I think, has been very, very good since he's came in. Ayew has shown glimpses, I would say. Obviously, Harry Winks came in as well. You've had obviously Oliver Skip, and obviously Okoli from Atalanta. Would you say any of them have been a success?
Depends how you grade success. A success in a Rochdale style, you could say yes. Success in a Premier League way, no. I mean, look, Winks was good last season, but he was in the Championship. That's his level. He's been bloody awful this season. He passes the ball to the opposition more than he does to his own players. Coley scored his first touch was putting the ball into his own net in a pre-season friendly, but he's young, he's homesick. I think he will come good. Who else have we? Well, I mean, Christensen's come back, so he's a bit like a new signing. But he once he goes forward, he just turns around and comes back again. Ayew, oh my God, don't stop me on Ayew. Oh, Ayew under Reed. It's like Dumb and Dumber. I mean, how the hell can you play those two starting? Ayew, tell you what, he scored a couple of goals for us. He's the sort of player you bring on in the 75th minute when you're 1-0 down and you're holding on and you're hoping to get a breakaway, because he will get you a foul. He will go down. He will break play up. That's what he does. Don't start him at the start. No. Reed, oh, for fuck's sake, where do I go with this guy? I mean,
Hell.
this guy.
To hell.
Yeah. What? I know it was Cooper's intention. He said he didn't want to be blamed by buying inexperienced players and then we don't stay up. So he went for experience. Reed, again, a couple of times he's shown what he can do because he's got in the box, and a lot of the time nobody's in the box when we do get the wingers up. But no, he's somebody else that's taking up somebody else's oxygen. And Edward, who we got from Palace, £90,000 a week to sit at home doing his knitting. We played last time we played Man United in the cup.
Yep.
Vardy was injured.
Mm-hmm.
Daka was on the pitch. Daka got injured, went off. We did not have a striker to come on now. It might work for Man City. It certainly doesn't bloody work for Leicester City. Edward was not even on the bench. Yet we're paying him 90 grand a week on a deal where we can't send him back. We joke about him. He might be actually half decent. We haven't seen him. We don't know.
You're better off without him.
Yeah. And Chris,
well, why not just? Well, the thing is, Daka's not scored. Man, it's whoever we stick up front on their own. The one up front is just not working for us.
No, it hasn't, and especially when you let Tom Cannon go as well, which I know people say it was an insurance policy.
Do not start me on Tom Cannon. Do not start me on. Well, you can start me on any of the 25 players in the squad. We have sold Tom Cannon. Apparently, he's a championship player. Well, guess what, John Rudkin? We're going to be in the Championship next year. Oh, he's not a Premier League player. Well, guess what, John Rudkin? He's actually at Sheffield United, who look like they're going to get promoted to the Premier League next year. So he will be. Oh, you sold him for some money, did you? We got 10 million for him and we spent 1.5, 2 million on one player coming in. This club is in a mess. It's up to its neck in the brown stuff, and it is not going to get better anytime soon.
And especially the next 6 games is not going to get any better for you, Chris. You got Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City, Newcastle, Brighton, and Liverpool. This is going to be one of
is that the Samaritans?
Yeah.
Cheers, Carl, for making me. But look, that's why I'm saying, get rid of Rude now. Yeah. We can afford to pay him off. All right, we might get a PSR again. at least we might be still be in the bloody division. Get rid of him. Doesn't matter. Those games are gone anyway. We've lost anyway. But get somebody in who's at least got a smidgen of an idea about how to manage a football club and how to manage the players.
Yeah, it's gone from bad to worse, and I think when you look at the fixtures coming up, I think if you're lucky, maybe obviously we will come on to Manchester United, as well, but I think that run of not scoring in 6 or 7 home games is really, really concerning. Because I watched you against Arsenal, and it was really, really good up until the final third. You just lack something in that final third.
It's called a striker.
Yeah.
That's what we lack. We've got Jamie offside Vardy, and that's it. One up front is not working. I said, looking at the games, up to and including Liverpool, I said we might get 1 point from all those games, and that was against West Ham. So I'm fucked already, aren't I?
I know. Could not get any worse, mate. But like I said, we are going to be trading places, probably on the regular.
Oh, thank you, mate. Just twist that knife while you're sticking it in me back.
All
I say, Daniel Farke cannot keep a team up, so we'll see you the season after.
Well, we'll see anyway. We'll see.
To be fair,
pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. Where can everyone find you? And we always know where you can find you. But tell
as it says there, LTID TV. Thanks for having me on. I'm going to go now, sit in a dark corner and cry. You've really cheered me up. And just think, Reece, as bad as you think it is at Man United, mate, it could be Leicester.
Trust me, I think we're much worse.
No, I'll swap you. Anyway, thanks for having me on, guys. All the best to all of you.
Cheers. Take care, Chris.
See you soon, mate. Take care.
Bye-bye.
And we got Reece Delivery. Reece, well, you joined us while we were talking with Chris about Leicester. Let's talk about 2 of your own clubs.
Let's not.
Well, listen. We have to get you out of the way just for your sake. This is a therapy session, so okay.
Oh yeah.
Session, so you could say whatever you want. Let's start off with Rangers, mate. You've had the opportunity to sack Philippe Clement, and it only took till last weekend after you lost 2 in St Mirren. You got knocked out of the Scottish Cup by Queen's Park. You had an unconvincing win against Hearts, even though you won 3-1. And you're 13 points behind Celtic. What the hell was going on? And also, why did it take so long to sack him?
I think, first of all, the team's a joke. In the nicest way possible, this team is a joke. I've said it to Doug for a long time. Every time I've spoken to Doug, really, because we speak every time we see each other. We talk about the issues that we get with the team, and I'm always consistent where I don't see anyone that actually tries. There's maybe like the odd few that does try, but this team is filled up with so many players that don't even understand Scottish football. And Scottish football isn't as good as it used to be. I mean, let's be real. Like, anyone can still admit that. It's not as good as it used to be, but you still want the quality of the league to be better for the sake of, well, this is our own league, for God's sake. If it's not, then what's the point watching it? Rangers, on the other hand, I think pretty much every Rangers fan is going to be brainwashed to say the words, there's no money, that's why they didn't sack him. Where I'm like, well, there's still owners there that have money. They can make their own decision out their own coffers if they need to, because it's still their business. If they want to keep someone in charge who is failing, then that's on them. So I think I would say it's a board decision, realistically, of why they took so long. I would have sacked him at the start of the season. Like before the season started, before the pre-season started, I would have sacked him there and then. He already blew it last season when he came in. Like, realistically, I don't think anyone can argue Rangers should have won the league last year.
Yeah,
like, they were miles ahead, but they blew it at the wrong decision. Like, the worst thing Rangers did last season, and you'll agree, mate, because this is your team. the worst thing that Rangers did last season was not sign Lawrence Shankland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If Rangers had signed Lawrence Shankland, that league would have been wrapped up in March.
We said to you guys, come give us what money you could give us it, and we'll sell it. But you didn't, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised because Shankland is still in his. I think he's in his last under the last 6 months now of his contract. So
He is,
he's
yeah.
deciding what is he going to do, and he had an interview earlier this week, and I think he talked about a situation. He's going to still decide what's going to happen after the season ends, and we'll see what happens where Hearts stand on his situation. Depends where we finish in the league position and what happens with Rangers, especially with
Agreed.
this takeover coming up with from the 49 enterprise that owns Leeds. This is going to be interesting. There have been talks since last autumn. It's now advanced. And do you see this that this could be a huge change of what is expected to come from the new consortium?
I think if they do take over, it's definitely a change that I never realistically saw coming. Like I would never expected it to have been these guys, but what I do think though is if they do take control, they need to be serious about the expectation as well. And this is like, I think if you ask the question, and this is not coming across as disrespectful or arrogant or anything like that at all, but if you ask the honest question, who's a bigger club? Is it Rangers or Leeds United? I think a lot of people openly and honestly are going to say Rangers, but Leeds are still in their own right a big football club. I'm not saying that in any shape or form like to dismiss Leeds' position just because I'm also a Man United fan, but like I think the level of like football club Rangers are just so much more astronomical that they are bigger, but I think right now in terms of which clubs in a much better position Leeds are. So I don't think Rangers would become an automatic first priority for the prospective owners, but I do think you'll see that start to feed out really well, and you'll see them maybe like split the attention 50-50, and that'll allow Rangers finances to improve. Obviously a £17 million loss when Celtic are reporting a £44 million profit. Like, if Rangers really want to compete, and I find this so coincidental that this is happening because we heard it last season on that podcast. We all listened to it. Graham Souness said if Rangers want to compete with Celtic, they need at least £50 million investment. And it's £50 million on good players. It's such a coincidence that as he's saying that, these talks are starting. And now these talks are so advanced and you're like, hey ho, what's going on?
This is going to be a very interesting question I have for you, but who out of the current squad would you currently keep?
Who would I keep? I think I'd keep John Suter. I think the problem is I think his injuries are the only thing, but he's probably the best defender at the club.
Yeah.
I'd keep John Suter. This might sound controversial because I know a lot of Rangers fans want to bank on him, but if no offers come for him in the summer, I'd keep Tavernier. But I'd play him as centre back because I actually think he's been very consistent recently at centre back than he has been a full back. I'd keep Dijon Sterling. I think he's actually a decent right back, to be fair, but some things need to change on that position. I would keep Yilmaz. I think he's probably the best fullback at the club. I would keep Diomande. I'm a big fan of Diomande. I would keep Raskin. I think the best partnership at the club is Raskin and Diomande.
Mm.
Yeah.
The player I really want to keep more than anything, sadly going to leave on a free transfer, but Yanis Hadji. He's going to end up in Turkey. I think that's a huge loss if Rangers lose him. But Yanis Hadji as well. And I would keep... I would like to keep Cherny, if possible. There's rumours that his parent club wants Bajrami. and Bajrami hasn't particularly delivered at Rangers.
No.
So if they were open to it, I would offer Bajrami for Cherny in a straight swap. I think that would do Rangers well, and I would keep Igamani. I think he's actually settled in quite well at the club, personally. There's young players. I wouldn't push out any young players. I think that's harsh. The likes of McCausland, I think he needs a loan, but the likes of Rice, I would keep him. I don't think Inshallah's worked at all. I don't think Hefty's going to prove much long term. I don't rate Cortes. Dessers is hot and cold.
Yeah.
And I think I said it to you as well, Doug, and I stand by it. I think Rangers will regret letting McCrory go.
Yeah.
I think Rangers will regret letting him go. I don't think Jack Butland's a bad goalkeeper, but I think Jack Butland this season hasn't been particularly great. He's been great in Europe, but he's been awful in the league. Whereas McCrory, when he played in the league and in Europe, when he got those matches, he delivered for Rangers. I think Rangers would have been better with just McCrory and Liam Kelly.
I was very surprised when you got rid of McCrory. I knew that obviously you were going to get Liam Kelly back from Motherwell. I think that was always a given. But McCrory, I've obviously seen him firsthand at Livingston. He was a good goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, he was really good. And I think with him being at Kilmarnock now, it's nice to see him getting some first team football. But then again, he probably would have got that had Butland not been there. But yeah, I think you've got to say Butland hasn't had the best seasons, but I was shocked when McCrory left in the summer. I was very, very surprised that you let him go.
Yeah, me too. I was like, this is a huge mistake. Like, it's not that I said that the writing was on the wall for Jack Butland, but I said this is a huge mistake because McCrory's still early 20s.
Yeah.
He had the best Rangers debut for a goalkeeper since Alan McGregor's second debut, or like the fact that he came in, he got a clean sheet against Celtic. Who gets a clean sheet against Celtic in their debut? And I'm pretty sure Rangers won that game 1-0.
1-0, yeah.
Yeah, 1-0, yeah.
So I'm like, how can you get rid of him? Because look at Jack Butland's record against Celtic as well. Jack Butland's record against Celtic is absolutely dreadful.
Yeah.
Like he concedes goals easier than any Rangers goalkeeper when it comes to the Old Firm. Like it is ridiculously bad.
Just very, very quickly as well, because I know Carl was obviously speaking about Lawrence Shankland as well. Carl, do you think Lawrence Shankland will now stay at Hearts? Because there was an interview I think coming out this week that actually says that he is open to potentially signing a new contract.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I was reading it as well. It wouldn't be surprising. I think how we've resurged in the form that we have been, especially ahead of the Edinburgh Derby tomorrow. I think deep down, after there was questions about him since from start of last year, was he going to go to Rangers? There was talks about that. The deal never happened under that month, and indeed it happened in the summer. Yeah. I think because of the signings that we've made in January, it has improved the overall. Because what Neil is coming, he was trying to. I think he was taking time to build, and yes, we did lose a couple of games, but we've resurged on our form. I think Shankly's seen, at least the Hearts board are trying to do more than the Rangers ownership board is. So I think for him, it's best for him he signs another probably 2 years.
Tell you something, that's a big game tomorrow. Hibs Hearts, because Hibs are unbeaten in 14. I think Hearts are unbeaten in like something like 7 or 8. So that game could be very, very interesting. I wouldn't be too surprised that I think a draw is written all over it, that one. But look, I think you've got to say, from where Hearts were, languishing in the relegation zone, it's been a very, very good turnaround from Neil Critchley. And I think, a lot of people were sort of, saying back then that Critchley, who is he? But actually, he's done pretty well. And I think as well, Hearts have done very, very well in getting back to where they want to be. But
he did get a bit of negativity from certain Hearts fans, especially when we were a bit of a losing run, and we were, win. But we could see the turnaround was there, and I think we were all patient. Said, no, give it. Listen, we stick with him. We see what happens. But I guarantee he's going to sign some good players in January because he knows
and
what he needs to prove.
I think when you say as well, look at the signing that you made in January, Kabangu.
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable for Hearts at the moment. Him and Shanklin seem to be doing a very, very good wee partnership.
I think the problem was because I think what happened with Liam Boyce, I think Liam Boyce was a bit injury prone. I think we see the best out of him between those two. But I think with Kambangu coming up front, and even when James Wilson plays, you see the partnership is now working together for those three when they're on the pitch. So it has helped.
And then that game that you were obviously speaking about, Hearts Rangers, I can't believe Rangers won that game. I know Jamie McCart scored 2 own goals, and I'm going to be honest, Jamie McCart is a bomb scarer of a defender. He is. I was very amazed how Rangers won that game because I thought Rangers were so poor that game, and it was definitely papering over the cracks as well. But I think Rangers should have got rid of Philippe Clement much earlier than they did. I agree with Reese. I think I was on the World of Football podcast, and I think I said then, I don't see Philippe Clement lasting the season. And I think you, Julio, and I think Nathan all said the same thing. They can't see Philippe Clement staying at the club.
Yeah, I just never saw it coming. I didn't think it was worth it. I don't actually... I was sceptical of him coming in initially because obviously he did get sacked at Monaco, and I was like, surely you want to come in and turn yourself around. You want to give yourself a bit more... What's the best way to put it? You want to give yourself a bit of redemption.
Yeah.
And he never did that. And I'm like, nah, I don't get any confidence out of this guy at all. So,
well, going from Rangers, we have to obviously go on to Manchester United because it has been a season where I don't think anyone would have expected United to be so low in the table. They're 14th place at the moment, 33 points. I'm sorry to put this into any Manchester United fans' heads, but Liverpool are going to finish above Manchester United this season. It is official. We are going to be finishing above Manchester United this season. But what has gone wrong, Reece? We're obviously, as a therapy session, obviously me and Carl can sit back and listen to what you've got to say, but what has gone wrong this season?
Therapy, I need more than that. Honestly, I have no clue. Like, the worst thing about this entire season again stems to not actually preparing for the season, not realizing that the squad isn't good enough, signing more players from a league that has proven is very inconsistent when it comes to the Premier League for development, and also persisting with a manager that, yes, he's won 2 trophies, but his league form was absolutely woeful. United came out this season. This is the worst part. United came out the season confirmed they were looking for new managers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went, well, we don't know who to sign. We don't know which manager works. So I know what we'll do. We're going to give you more money, Ten Hag. And we're going to let you sign new players. He signs a 19-year-old centre-back from Lille that gets injured in his first game against Rangers, funnily enough. 1 kick and he's injured. You've got the midfield that was never signed for him. Like, you can tell that Ugarte definitely does not fit at the Ten Hag team.
Yeah.
that seemed like a bit of a foreshadow, if you know what I mean. Like, Ugarte wasn't signed for Ten Hag. He was clearly signed for who someone is following. At that point, is it going to be a Ruben Amorim, or is it going to be somebody who just likes a physical type midfielder like Ugarte that runs about the pitch? And that makes sense. And obviously, initially, the first manager linked wasn't even Amorim. The first manager that was linked to the club during the summer is now the England manager.
Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah. Now, I like Ruben Amorim. I think Ruben Amorim's a good manager. I feel bad for him in the worst way. And the reason why I feel bad for him is because he specifically stated he wanted to finish the season at Sporting.
Yeah.
He was already on course to win another League and Cup double. He was
Yeah.
doing well in the Champions League. I think him leaving cost Sporting Lisbon a chance of getting out getting into the
League
playoffs.
stage, yeah.
Yeah, I think it cost them. I think if Amorim had stayed, they would have been in at least in the playoff round.
I think they would have been ahead of Man City.
So would I.
Yeah.
I think they would have been because they were playing so much better football. They make the change, and then the league form dies down. They're still they're not even top of the league anymore. Benfica are.
They're level on points, yeah, but Sport's still on top of because of goal difference. But at the moment, it's close. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've kind of jeopardised themselves. The Benfica last year, I watch Portuguese football. I like watching Benfica play football. But I wouldn't call myself like a Benfica fan. I just like their history. But I think when you look at it on paper, like which team's likely to win the league, I think it's going to be Benfica. I think they're in a stronger position. But Sporting Lisbon would have walked that league if Amorim hadn't left, and he did say he wanted to finish the season. I think United. I think United were very reluctant to maintain that. I think United were worried about having another interim manager that potentially wins good games in a row, so they just said, well, let's hire him. I think United should have. I said it when Chris was on. United should have stuck with Van Nistelrooy because he had theoretically nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, even if he had won, saying sake, we were still in the Carabao Cup, I believe, at this point. For saying sake, Van Nistelrooy won the Carabao Cup and the League Cup, the FA Cup, but he didn't win the Europa League. I would be like, you know what? Thank you for delivering 2 trophies more than Ten Hag did in a single season. I'd be like, thank you for that. But we're still not giving you the full manager's job. I think Van Nistelrooy until the end of the season would have been fine. Even if he'd won 2 trophies, I would still not have given him the manager's job permanently.
Yeah.
I would have kept him at the club, though. I think letting him go was a mistake. But I would have said to Ruben Amorim, right, this is what we want. Please sign the contract with us. In that way. Sign the contract. But you are our manager from the summer next year, which would be this summer. And then it lets Van Nistelrooy finish the season, knowing that he's already got a new boss coming in, but he is the manager until the end of the season. It lets Amorim concentrate on Sporting Lisbon. It allows him to leave the club in a good situation for whoever follows him.
Yeah.
And it allows Van Nistelrooy to find the players in the squad theoretically that would be suited to go in the summer. I also think as well what Van Nistelrooy should have done if he'd been kept, Van Nistelrooy should have started playing the free at the back. I think that would have helped the players going forward. They know they're bringing in a free at the back manager. If Amorim had joined the summer, well then Van Nistelrooy could say, you know what, I've actually started playing this system. The players are ready to go. All we need now is just for you to take it on and bring in your players. But instead, United went, no, it's either you take it now or that job will never be here. I think United were very, very disgraceful towards Amorim and how they treated him. They said they were going to back him as well, like in the market in January as well, and they were going to back him in the summer. Aiden Heaven from Arsenal's young team is not a signing. Like, that's, even though he's pen to paper, that's not a signing. We were looking at a defender from Argentina apparently who was going to come through for Martinez. I need to actually double check his. I'm just going to get the name up for it as well. I can't remember what he's called, but that was a rumor. See if I can find it. 2 seconds.
I mean, Carl, when you look at Manchester United as well, it's the recruitment side of things that are really, really bad. I mean, I look at some of the Ten Hag signings, and Anthony for £90 million. That must be like one of the worst buys in the club's history. I would even say as well, Rasmus Højlund as well. I think he's gone 17 games now without a goal.
It will be. It will be if he doesn't. It will be if he doesn't score in the next game. Yeah.
It's just really, 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 really bad. But from obviously like watching from an outsider's point of view, especially with obviously how Leeds are doing. What have you made of the struggles of Manchester United?
I will be honest. It's so laughable of how when you bring in such as Dan Ashworth, then you for £3 million after the prolonged situation that he was at Newcastle on the garden leave, and then you get rid of him just not long ago, and you pay an extra £1 million to give for his compensation. It just shows you that what is Jim Radcliffe doing at the club to make
No
this?
idea.
Especially and the signings. Listen, Joshua Zirkzee, I know what happened a few weeks ago. He got booed by somebody at Old Trafford, and I just think what is going on if the recruitment side of things. You let Anthony go to Betis on loan. He's kind of doing decently over there in Spain, and then the situation with Marcus Rashford that should not drag so long. If you knew, and especially you let him go to Aston Villa, and look, he's assisting goals for Asensio. It just shows you there's no cohesion in this, not in the team, but the whole club itself. There's no cohesion, especially when you're cutting a lot of jobs, more than 100 jobs all over the place. Cutting the lunch for everyone for all except for the players. They say you have to bring your own lunch or buy it through. It just shows you there's a lot of cost cutting measure going at this club because of the money that has been wasted over the years. Where Man United is still in debt around about nearly around £750 million. How and it's still the same amount that is when the Glazers bought it 20 years ago. Nothing surprised me anymore. It doesn't, and I think just seeing how everything they've been we've gone on with all the cutting certain the ambassadors with Sykes Ferguson and vice versa. It's just a huge mess. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm on about this. It's making the Leeds United ball look more good than than Man United bad. It just shows how the comparison who's the most well-run club at the moment. I will say Leeds United because at least they got a vision of what they want to do, where Man United doesn't.
I will say though, I think Dorgu is a very good signing. He's looked like he's a really, really good wee prospect. I know he got sent off against Ipswich, bad challenge, and it was definitely a red card. But to be fair, he had the game from hell because he did play a back pass where Onana comes flying out, and then basically Jadon Philogene is a simple task to put it into an empty net, and then one thing that really struck me the other night was there was a stat that came out, and I think it was something along the lines of errors leading to goals. David De Gea did 17 in 12 years at Manchester United. Andre Onana has had 12 in 2 years. 13 in 2 years, I should say. Now, I know that Ten Hag has had his critics with some of the signings that he's made, but Andre Onana, Reece, I know that you said at the time that you did want Onana to come back. Do you regret that now?
Oh, I regret that a long time ago. Valentin Gomez, that's the centre back I was trying to find. He's a young centre back that United were looking at apparently in January just because of Martinez's injury. Onana. Personally, I thought Onana, just the system wise under Ten Hag, I thought was going to work. He wasn't my top choice at all, but I was like, well, if he understands Ten Hag's style of football when Ten Hag had him, then it makes sense. But then so many errors crept in, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely not going to work. I backed out on Onana just before the start of the season, and I'm like, nah, I'm not confident at all with this goalkeeper at all. I was like, United. This is what I don't understand about you. I blame football fans for this in a way, but people moan that you need to have a goalkeeper who's good with his feet, and you need to have a goalkeeper who can sweep stuff up and all that. And I'm like, the best goalkeeper in the Premier League isn't a goalkeeper who's good with his feet.
No.
The best goalkeeper in the league is the goalkeeper who commands his box. He actually distributes well with his hands, and he gives his defence confidence because he makes stop saves. Now, which goalkeeper is that?
Alisson.
Yeah. Alisson is not good with his feet. Like he isn't. He is a classic throwback goalkeeper. The difference is though is he's not like De Gea, where De Gea lost his confidence and De Gea just stuck to his line. Alisson at least will come up to the penalty spot, or he'll go a little bit further, or he just has more confidence in his ability, where he knows he's going to dominate his area. It's why he rarely concedes goals. And I'm like, Man United need that. Like, Alisson is on the level of a goalkeeper that Man United need, like an Oblak or a Courtois. Like, Man United should be signing a goalkeeper like that.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be signing someone like Onana. I think Gregory Kobel's a good goalkeeper, the Dortmund goalkeeper. He's actually I would say he's kind of similar to Alisson in a way, except even though he does play with his feet, he at least is more about dominating his area, and he's more dominant. He's more about like commanding that space and giving his defence some reassurance. I think United need I would say Cabell's a decent goalkeeper. I think if he didn't have so many injuries, I'd say Mike Mignon. But depending on the situation Real Madrid in the summer, whoever they get as a new manager, even though he's into his 30s, I don't care that Casemiro hasn't particularly worked well recently. I would go as much as possible, and I would try as much as I can to sign Courtois. Like, I actually would. I don't care how much it costs. Like, I don't think I like Diogo Costa at Porto, but he was so suspect at the Euros.
He's still raw at this particular moment. That's why I was thinking, what does Man City do if they get rid of Edison in the summer? I just thought, would they?
I think he's more fitting for Man City than we are. They like to play that way.
Since last summer, I say he's more fit for Man City than if Edison was going to go. I did say that last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's more suited to Man City. They play that ball from out the back. United, in a way, I don't think United are particularly good at playing from the back, even though they've got players that can do it. I don't think United are traditionally that type of team. I think United are more of a team who likes to, in a way, they're like Liverpool. Like, United like to play football where it is all about pressing teams high and quick transition football and turning defence over and just being able to destroy teams. But Liverpool have also added to their way where they can now dominate possession more effectively and they can pass the ball better. I think United theoretically should just be that. Man United and Liverpool have got their own distinct styles, and yet people want them to play at Man City. And I'm like, no, because then that makes the league boring. So I want United to dominate the ball, 100%. I want United to dominate the ball. I want United to be much more effective at passing the ball. But I want United to play the ball faster instead of playing the ball slower. I don't think United do well when they keep the ball so slowly and they don't know what they're doing. When United play the ball quickly, Not in the sense of let's play counter-attacking football, but it's just a sense of like you play a sense of where you're still dominating possession of the ball, but you're playing the ball much quicker, directly through the channels. You counter-attack if necessary. There's nothing wrong with doing a counter-attack, but the counter-attack should only be a tool where you're transitioning the ball at that speed. United should just be immediately intense pressing. Like I've said this for a long time, United would be better off playing a style of football that fits the way of a very high pressing echelon of the game. That's what United should be about. United should be about a Spanish style. I've said it to Doug numerous times. United would have been better off playing a German style of football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And United would be better off playing a German style of football, but the thing is, they let the German manager they want, they let him go and take the England job. They were never going to get Nagelsmann anyway. I already knew that, even though he would have been top of my choice. I've got nothing against Amorim. I want Amorim to succeed, but the manager I wanted was Julian Nagelsmann, but he's now signed on till the 2028 Euros. He's going to win an international tournament. Anyone that thinks he's not,
Yeah.
I think he's going to like people. I think people think Spain are the favourites to win the World Cup, and rightly so. I think Germany are going to win the World Cup in the States. I think the reality's on the wall. The fact is now they've got Musiala and they've got Wirtz cooking, and Pavlovic is going to be cemented in that midfield by then.
Yeah.
I think people will be laughing their heads off to write the Germans off. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a Germany-Spain final.
I would agree because, like I said, look, listen, I don't know about the England situation, if Tuchel's going to get the right squad. And listen, it will see. But I think at this particular moment, how
They are a favourite as well.
Yeah, we are the favourites. But I think where Germany has the way since you played at the Euros, I think you should have been more further after when you got knocked out. You should by Spain. I think you should. I think you were. I think you were the favourites. It's like what you did in the 2006 World Cup. You got to the semi-finals, but you built yourself up, and then you win the 2014 World Cup. I think this is what we're seeing the same pattern again. We're seeing this team now. Yeah, it's gonna.
I think the only difference now. I think the problem is after that tournament, obviously Yogi Love lost some key players, but he didn't really prepare well after that. He thought they would have walked the Euros, and they got the semi-finals, particularly not with a great team. But then we all saw the 2018 World Cup, and we saw the 2020/2021 Euros. After that Confederations Cup that Germany won, they didn't prepare well, whereas I think now they've learnt those lessons. And I kind of see that with United in a way. Like, that's what United missing. I like the way that Nagelsmann's using three number 10s. I quite like that, where he uses two of them as wide players and they tuck in.
Yeah.
And he plays the central one as more of a box-to-box midfielder as a 10, which I think is so unheard of. I'm like, if that was in my head, I'd be much more confident that way, because that's where I would have played Fernandes in that box-to-box role as a number 10, and you've got, I don't know, maybe a Garnacho or a Rashford flanking Diallo. But obviously, one of them's not happening now, but I think Amorim's system is costing him a bit. Like, when you look at United in the current situation, I think he likes to play 2 10s behind a striker. The problem is he's only got one, because the other one is never fit, and that's Mason Mount. I think if you want to persist with 2 10s, then you need number 10s in your midfield. Otherwise, you put Fernandes in a deeper role, and you just make the 2 10s two wide players, and you just play them higher up the field. And you play a traditional 3-4-3 system. Because I like the fact he uses 2 10s. He likes to keep that narrow, but it's not actually working.
No.
Like, I think personally, I think he'll admit this himself. He might regret this, but he came into a club knowing that these are wingers. If you're going to play your 3-4-2-1 system where it's number 10s, then straight away you should be saying in January, bring me attacking midfield players. Instead, he's kept wingers, tried to play them as 10s. Only one of them's actually adapted well, and that's Amad Diallo. But he's now injured. I think he should have played the 3-4-3 in that way, and he should have played Garnacho, Amad Diallo, and he should have played Rashford up front. Or Rashford through the middle and play someone else in that striker position, because it has not worked. And it's now costing Rashford, who's actually done well at Villa so far, bar that howler of a miss against Cardiff.
Yeah. I'm just checking your next sort of couple of fixtures now. I know that there is a protest happening on the Sunday the 9th of March. That's obviously when you play Arsenal. I've just had a look at your next two. Arsenal at home, Leicester away. How many points do you think you get out of those two?
3. I think we'll beat Leicester. But
yeah, and then
it'll be a scrap. Arsenal, I think the best we can get against Arsenal is a draw, but I'm not confident. The only good thing for us, though, ahead of the Arsenal games, we do have players back from injury.
Yeah.
But it's not the players theoretically we want back from injury. Like, we still need, we still need Ahmad back. Losing him has cost us our season. Like that's cost us any chance we had, I think, of even doing something like winning the Europa League. Like, that's gone now. But
yeah, and then Tuesday the 1st of April away to Nottingham Forest, which is a very tough ground to go to. Now we've seen that a lot of teams have some really tough games there. Then it's the Manchester Derby on the 6th of April as well. So yeah, those next four are going to be very very tough. Then you're away to Newcastle United on the Sunday the 13th of April.
The day after my birthday.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Not looking forward to that. I have start of the season. I thought United were going to be prepared enough. I thought United would have been prepared enough to finish in the top 4. I don't take the top 4 as an accomplishment. I never have. I don't rate it as an accomplishment. But I think United surely would have been in that top 4 competing. But we aren't. I think if Ten Hag, not Ten Hag, sorry, I think Amorim might end up walking at the end of the season. I wouldn't blame him. I don't know where United would go next, though.
Yeah.
But me personally, if Amorim wants to have any chance next season of getting any decent backing of this board, which I agree with Carl, I have no clue what they're doing. I think Jim Ratcliffe is just a British Glazer at this rate. Like, the way he's acting it's giving me glazing vibes, and I don't like it. I thought he was going to come in and nudge originally, and I thought it was actually going to be effective for Man United. But I don't think United need a big owner. United generate enough money to sustain themselves. United just needs somebody who can actually just clear the debt and just improve the training facilities and concentrate on the stadium, which I said to you the other day, Doug, on the World of Football podcast. Yeah. How can you trust a prospective owner if he's begging the government for help to build a new stadium?
Yeah.
Like his company's rich enough to build a new Old Trafford, as they want to call it. They should be able to afford that himself. So I don't understand this at all. So
11 games to go.
Yep.
33 points to play for. If you win all them, you get to 66 points. So I think it's quite safe to say you probably won't win every single game. No. Where do you think you finish this season?
12th. I'll be surprised if United get back into the top 10, which is not even an accomplishment. And the answer to your question, Chris, no. I think the only thing that's changed at United really is we've seen some players that actually want to try and thrive under Amorim. The problem is they're still playing with players that really do not care anymore. Like, the biggest decision Amorim's already made, and he's going to rue the day for it, is when he put Onana back in the team and persisting with Højlund. Those two are going to cost him his season more than anything else. Højlund can't score, and Onana can't even command his box. Like, the minute Bender comes back from injury, he should be starting goalkeeper until United get a new one.
Yeah.
Is he available tomorrow?
Binder, I think so. I hope
So
he is.
he'll probably come in against Fulham then.
Yeah, United should.
Again, that's not an easy game. Fulham.
No, it's not. I'm actually gonna have a look and see if there's any injury news. To be fair, like I'm not particularly confident at all. You know what I mean? But
I'll ask you the same question, Carl. Where do United finish this season?
I don't think anywhere above 12th. I think they will stay around just where they're at the moment. I just don't see any improvement. I really don't.
yeah,
I'm going to stay away from Carlisle.
I don't disagree with that. There's so many other things as well that I think is funny. It's nice that Cheeto Obi-Wan Kenobi is staying with the first team. I quite like that. Hopefully he'll use the Force and keep the ball.
Oh.
There's rumors in the summer that we're gonna offer Napoli money plus Hoyland for Osimhen. Which, to be fair, I like Osimhen, but I think Osimhen comes in and he exposes United even more.
Yeah,
Because Osimhen needs a team that's set up to create for him.
I don't think that will be. Well, I was going to say Arsenal, but at the moment,
Has he done well at Galatasaray?
He has scored a fair few goals, I believe. Yeah. I don't know his exact stats, but I'll get them for you.
I've got this stats here, actually. Yeah, I've got the stats.
I thought it was a very weird move when he made that move to Turkey.
He scored 14 goals in 90 leagues, but he scored 20 in 27 in all.
Yeah, he's got 6. He's actually scored 21 goals this season because he still has the one goal in the.
Yes, in Napoli. Yeah.
He got the.
Sorry, Obi Kenobi, he need more than the Force.
Aye. If you look at his stats this season, he got the one goal. No, it was African Cup of Nations this season or last season?
Last season.
All right, he scored that then. So yeah, he's got 20 goals and 4 assists across the Super League and the Europa League. But he's got he's got players who are that Galatasaray team is insane. I'm still trying to figure out how the Turkish league has these players in their league. I'm not saying in that way to disrespect the Turkish league, but Victor Osimhen is £100 million player and he's playing for Galatasaray.
Yeah,
it's incredible. But apparently we're going to offer 33 million plus Hoyland for Osimhen. The funny thing is they'll take it.
They will do. They will take it, Napoli, because they've realised they're not going to get the money that they wanted to get. He's had his release clause, and yeah, I just they had a chance to do. I think when he was linked to the move to PSG last summer, and it never happened. It would, and look at the guy. Well, you see how PSG bought Kashvili in that, how that's changed. And Coleman now, and he's gone to Juventus and done quite well over as well. So I just think, yeah, his value stock in what he had a season and a half ago is gone.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, so I'm just looking at injury news now. So I know that obviously Amad Diallo's out for the season.
Yeah.
Kobe Mainoo's not back until April. Yeah. Luke Shaw, I hear KFC still employing.
Yeah.
Lisandro Martinez, well, he's out. Toby Collier, young player, but he's been okay. He's back this month.
Yeah.
Altay Binder actually says it's unknown, which is quite scary.
Oh my god, Chris is on fire.
Mason
Turkish kebabs are the pool.
Yeah. I would go
it's either the Turkish kebabs or white teeth or they're barbers.
I mean, to be fair, he's still got the same haircut, so I don't think the barber's the pool, although I wouldn't mind that myself. But there's so many things wrong. United as well are jumping at the. If this is serious, I'm going to laugh. According to Yahoo Sports, Osimhen wants $413K a week to sign for Man United.
Bloody hell!
That's not happening. And if that is true, then keep him the hell away. Keep him away.
All right, and just very, very briefly, because
De Ligt needs to be sold as well.
I know I know that Arsenal fans are having a right old whinge, and when do they
They're-
not have a right old whinge?
They're
But
delusional. They're
this
delusional.
was the table before any injuries, right? So 13 games played before any like injuries happened, etc.
Mhm.
Liverpool top 34, Arsenal 25, Chelsea 25, Brighton 23, Man City 23, Nottingham Forest 22. But yet they say Liverpool have only won it because of Arsenal's injuries. We've actually been top since day 2 of the
Yeah,
season.
because who was top on day 1?
Manchester United.
Yeah, it's the only time we've been top of the league all season. Arsenal haven't been top of the league once.
So it's quite funny that Arsenal fans are actually saying that this league has been won because of like Arsenal's injuries, etc. No, Liverpool have been the most consistent team of this season.
I agree.
They've only bought one player, and that's all they need. And Liverpool, one player. Where Arsenal did spend money, but they didn't want to spend money in January to get Benjamin Sesko or even get Cole Marani on loan, where they had the opportunity to do that.
They could have signed Rashford as well on loan as well.
I know.
There's something else that's absolutely funny, and this is something I stand on. And I already said this to Doug. I've said this to Doug numerous times this season because I did catch it on social media from a few Liverpool accounts I know, and I think they're regretting it now. But I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans in the summer and the start of the season saying they need to sell Luis Diaz, and I'm like, Luis Diaz is a guy that Ralph Rangnick personally recommended for Man United.
Yeah.
And we didn't sign him. And I'm like, why on earth would you want Luis Diaz to go? Like, he's actually settled quite well in that central position. He's a much better striker for Liverpool than Darwin Núñez. And even when he plays out wide, you've got another player that we chose not to sign because we wanted Anthony, Cody Gakpo. Probably one of the best tournament players right now from a centre forward position.
Yeah.
And people say, "Oh, Liverpool need to sell these guys." I'm like,
I think the biggest thing I can take away from this season, if we obviously go on and win the league, which I fully expect us to do now, is the fact Jurgen Klopp single-handedly transformed the whole midfield last season. Yeah. Alexis McAllister, Dominic Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, and Wataru Endo. Those four alone.
And regain Curtis Jones' top form as well.
Yeah. So I think when you look at that, that's a midfield now that you'd probably argue is probably one of the best in the league. Yeah. Especially for like McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai. That is a really, really good midfield three. I was at Anfield on Wednesday, and I've got to say, you look at Newcastle's midfield, you had Tonali, you had Guimaraes, you had, who was it, Willock, I think, as well. That's a good midfield. Don't get me wrong. But our midfield was allowed to have so much possession of the football. And as well, you remember when Joe Matip was making those sort of runs from defence? Well, Ibu Konate did a couple the other night as well. So it was like watching a Matip region. I think it's only a matter of now when we win the title now, not if. And I think if I did ask you to, can you see Arsenal not dropping any more points? Because I just don't think this whole Mourinho thing is sustainable enough.
Arsenal aren't even in a title race.
No, I don't. I echo what Reece said. Arsenal
are they in a top 4 battle?
Arsenal are in a battle to stay relevant as a big club.
Yes,
that's what I would say. I don't understand the hype around Arsenal. I mean, I saw Mikel Arteta firsthand as a Rangers player, and I've said it to you as well, Doug, in the World of Football podcast. I think, Carl, you were on the show at the same time. This is what annoyed me about Arteta. I've seen Mikel Arteta play firsthand at Rangers when he was signed from PSG, and he was one of the nicest footballers you could ever see. Always smiling, positive energy, works hard, brilliant baller, and you're like, yeah, this guy someday is going to be a good manager. You would absolutely bet on it. He's got a good mind for the game. He knows what he's doing. Ever since he's become actually, I wouldn't say in his I wouldn't say the interim period when he won the FA Cup, because it wasn't a problem then. During the interim period when he got the Arsenal job, he was still that energetic self.
Yeah.
He was happy. He wasn't doing anything. Ever since he's got the Arsenal job, he's become a complete dickhead. And I've had
the anti side of him. That's what it feels
like. Yeah, and Doug, you'll know this because you remind Julio every day about seventh position, which is absolutely funny. But in our World of Football podcast group chat, I have consistently called Mikel Arteta a dickhead, and I've consistently said his team are the biggest cowards in football. They are afraid to challenge Manchester City, and every time they've played Man City under Arteta, they are afraid to challenge them. They will defend 10 men and counter on the ball and hope they get a goal and defend with 10, 11 men. They're not a top. They're not a top side. Like Man United are an awful side, but Man United at least actually go after Man City. They go after Liverpool.
Do you know something?
They're weak. They are Stoke in disguise with money.
Do you know something? I actually fancy Manchester United to beat Arsenal because of the fact that you've actually got strikers. And yeah, obviously I know like Højlund and Xerxes, etc. But Arsenal fans will be so annoyed at the fact that Arne Slot has came in from the Eredivisie, basically came into a new league, has allowed to get his ideas across, not being able to sign many players, etc. And he's going to go on and win the league in his first attempt. And Arteta is still waiting 5 years down the line. That should be the most embarrassing thing for Arsenal fans, is that basically this was meant to be your season.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the same problems have came up again. They haven't signed a striker. Who was the last striker that they signed? Was it Aubameyang?
Yes. Aubameyang was the last striker.
This is the prediction I had, Chris. I never wished Liverpool would win a trophy at any point, but I did say at the start of the season I thought that maybe they'd win the Carabao Cup at best, and I did say third, just because I think I didn't think the rest of the league was good enough to keep them back, and they've overestimated my expectations. But that's because I agree with what you said earlier on. You are the most consistent team in the league. The worst thing as well, and this is where being a United fan, it sucks most. You are about to tie us for 20 league championships, which is even more bloody annoying. And you've done it with a manager that came from the same league that our manager failed in the league. And here's the funny thing: Arne Slot was not as successful in the Eredivisie as Ten Hag.
No.
Not even by a long shot. He was even more successful than Van Nistelrooy statistically, which says even more. And yet he's come into the Premier League and he's never once said eras are going to end. He's never abandoned his style of football. And he's actually came in and said, you know what, this is exactly what I need to do and we're just going to go and do it. Whereas Ten Hag, it was excuse after excuse. And it's failed spectacularly, you know.
I think the funniest thing was pundits and people who did podcasts. I shared one on my Instagram the other day, and someone said, "So like Liverpool are going to finish 6th," and then basically I think it was Rory Jennings looked at this person as like 6th, and then they basically said Arnie who.
Yeah.
Well, this is a guy who's going to win his first Premier League title
in his
first season.
Yeah, and I don't care what anyone says. Like the fact he's had little to spend, any Premier League fan watching that should be embarrassed.
Yeah, they should be. Oh no, they should be absolutely embarrassed after what they said. You know,
I just hate the whole thing about it. It just makes me sick. But the worst thing as well is when you look at this Liverpool team. I don't think he'll retain the title. I don't think he will. But
we'll push them close. We'll push whoever wins the next season close.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. But what I will say is after this season, no one. Well, I haven't taken him seriously for years, but maybe that's because I'm ahead of the curve. But after this season, no one will take Arsenal seriously again.
No.
No one will.
I agree.
This is it. I don't care who they get. If Arteta gets sacked, no one will take him seriously again. Arteta's a manager. My dad's a Man City fan, and he thought Arteta was going to get the job. He's actually said, no, I want Vincent Kompany. But that says all. My dad's actually said he wants nothing to do with Arteta for what he's done. He's went the complete opposite of what he was going to do at Arsenal. Yeah. He's like, nah. He's like, I'm not having a coward manage his own words. I do not want a coward managing my club. And I've called him a coward for a long time anyway because how they play football. But he thinks Vincent Kompany is going to be the one that replaces Guardiola, and I actually kind of agree. When I look at
that as well too, I think that
and again he's about to win his first Bundesliga title as well.
Yeah,
with Harry Kane.
I know.
What was that was interesting how that pad, yeah.
Harry Kane is actually going to win a trophy. God Almighty, we're all doomed. You know what's worse as well? We could have had Harry Kane and Rasmus Højlund in the same season, and we said no. And he turned down Watkins. Ten Hag turned down Watkins. Absolute melt. And yes, Chris, thank you for bringing that up. He won the FA Cup with an Unai Emery team. You know what's funny? I said this to Doug. Unai Emery would have won Arsenal the Premier League last season.
Thank you. Yeah, even I will say, yeah, thank you.
Arsenal would have won the Premier League this season with Unai Emery in the job with the same team.
Yeah.
They're a joke. The top three next season, by the way, will be Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City.
Yeah, I agree. That fourth, I don't know who's going to get it.
Aston Villa. I think the same. I think the top four next season will be Chelsea win the league. I don't know why. I just think there's something crazy that's going to happen. I think Chelsea win the league. Liverpool finish second. Man City finish third, purely because we don't know what's going to happen with Rodri. Unless Rodri's back to full health, then they win the league.
He's back in training, but I don't.
He's back in training. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
He's been back in training, but I don't see him. Could have seen him starting before the end of the season.
I don't think so. And I think Aston Villa finish fourth.
Yeah.
Unless something goes horribly wrong, Aston Villa finish fourth. Man United really. I'm pretty sure he was linked to us as well at some point. We will regret not getting Unai Emery as well.
Yeah, Man United were linked with him as well.
It's horrible. Amorim needs to be back big in the summer. And I don't mean just back to have signed 4 or 5 players. United need more than that. But most of all, United need players that actually fit positions, not just shuffle them in.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've just seen the Millwall goalkeeper's been sent off against Crystal Palace.
Wow. Not a surprise, especially the 10th of the derby. It is a London derby. Not surprised at all.
Yeah, eight minutes it took him to be sent off.
Makes sense though. It's Millwall.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That is very true.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. Oh, Chris, just finish off with this one. Another issue. Yeah, he needs backing. But like I said, it's not just 4 or 5 players, what you said, Reese. It's like they need to buy a whole new team.
We signed Dorgu for left wing back, no problem. But we signed a left wing back from a club that's competing in the Libertadores. And we done exactly what City did. We let the player stay over there, and I'm like, he scored last night. Mm-hmm. I'm like right now we've only got one genuine left-footed left wing back. Why did we let him stay over there, Diego Leon? He should have been over here, learning the English game, so we can actually fit him in the team. It's a joke.
Well, anyone's better than Delo.
Yeah, I think controversial in the summer. Actually, I'm not. It's not even controversial. This is who Man United need to get rid of in the summer: Andre Onana.
Yep.
Matthias de Ligt. Harry Maguire.
Matthias de Ligt.
Wow.
Yep. De Ligt needs to be sold. Harry Maguire purely for the sense of he's actually had a good season, but I think theoretically, long term, I don't think he's the right answer. So yeah, Andre Onana, Matthijs de Ligt, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Diogo Dalot, Rasmus Højlund, Joshua Zirkzee. Depending on the Rashford situation, probably Rashford. I think if he continues
Did
to
I say there was an option to buy for Rashford?
Yes,
40
million
million.
pounds.
40 million, yeah. I think another one as well, potentially, even though I really do rate this kid, if he continues to like certain posts from a certain fan channel, then Alejandro Garnacho. Like I'm really getting angry with him constantly with his United stand propaganda.
I honestly think when I look at Amorim, when I look at Ten Hag, I think Amorim, if anyone crosses a line, he basically deals with it. That's something Ten Hag didn't do.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not on loan with obligation to buy, Chris. I do know that. Yeah, so
they've got to be above. They've got to finish above 15th in the league to sign Sancho. What a weird situational clause. 25 million to finish above 15th in the league. I think I seen a United fan the other day make a joke saying United are in 15th deliberately just to make sure that Chelsea can't finish below them, so Sancho is signed. I was like, please don't say that because it's just as bad. But yeah, I think weirdly enough, I think Garnacho's been constantly caught out by his connections to the United stand. Rasmus Højlund has already been confirmed as a United stand leak. Like that's already been confirmed. He needs to go, not just because of that, but also the fact he just cannot finish for Toffee. But I think Kobe Mainoo is going to end up leaving as well, the way things are going. I don't know why he's not getting minutes when he's fit. I don't understand that at all. He's a good player.
Is that because of PSR issues?
I don't know. Might be. Of all clubs that should not have a PSR issue, is Man United. Like this,
exactly.
It's ridiculous, but I think in the summer, United. This might sound crazy, but I stand by it. In the summer, United need to spend more than 250 million quid. United need to spend at least 350, which is not in terms of I'm not being delusional, or I'm not being unrealistic or anything like that. When you look at Amorim's system, and Mason Mount needs to go as well because he can't stay fit. When you look at this system in general, he needs. I think Dorgu is actually good enough for the left wing back position, but I think maybe United need a more experienced option ahead of him. I think United needs centre backs. Jonathan Tah's about to leave Bayer Leverkusen on a free. I would take Jonathan Tah tomorrow. Yeah. He's a brilliant centre back. I think United need at least 4 centre backs. I think United need a whole new midfield. Christian Eriksen and Casemiro need to go as well. They need a whole new midfield. They need 3 number 10s just to compete with. Because Amad Diallo, I don't know if that's maybe his position. If Amad Diallo says that number 10 role, then 3 number 10s. And United need a top striker, like a Gyökeres or a Vlahovic, or even if United played like a centre forward who just played like a deeper role and allowed the 2 10s to connect. But yeah, that's another good one.
I've seen Jonathan David be mentioned potentially.
Yeah,
on a free, Jonathan David and Angel Gomez are being linked back to United in terms of free transfers. I wouldn't mind Angel Gomez, like in that deeper position. His passing's good in that way, and he may be small, like he's not a tall midfielder, but he has certainly got stronger since he's left Man United. I think he would handle the Premier League better this time.
Yeah, I think he will do. I think him going to France has actually helped him develop into a player that should have been in the English squad a while back before.
I agree.
Yeah.
United definitely need players that are not just good with the ball technically,
but good with off the ball when the positioning and stuff. Yeah.
Massively. United need all that, and they need players who are physical. They can withstand the challenge, and actually as well, you need players that are actually going to fit the system. They can actually attack, defend, and will actually press, because not many of them do. I think it's also as well, I think Bruno Fernandes has got 2 years left at the club generally.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to be played. Did we play Bruno Fernandes as number 10? I don't know. or do you play Bruno Fernandes in a deeper role with Ugarte? I think questions need to really be asked on that one, but
Yeah.
there's so many things wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to get a late score, Leeds have just gone ahead against West Brom. Junior Firpo just scored in the 9th minute of the game. So
Goal machine. 2-2.
yeah, 2-2. Yeah, yeah. He's not. I know he's not being a good goal scorer, but I think we're now seeing the best out of him this season because he's got a year left in his contract. So I don't know what's going to happen with the left back position if we do get promoted. I think we'll have to see more of his future. So yeah.
Oh, Michael Oliver's trending on Twitter.
Of course he is.
Michael. Oh my goodness. So Jean-Philippe. Just before we go, Jean-Philippe Mateta carried off. You have to wonder how Michael Oliver missed Liam Roberts' high boot in the first place. Not giving that straight away is both hilarious and terrifying.
Yeah. My God.
Did you see that Mr. Coot's been banned for a year?
Yeah,
Good.
saw it yesterday. Yeah,
Good.
good. And it has to be because
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got he's been banned for a year, which is hilarious. Birmingham got a decent game today as well, actually.
against Wickham, top 2. Yeah.
Who the hell is this guy? Man United have signed highly rated attacking midfielder Jed Bangura from Oxford United for the youth team. Who the hell? Why are we signing players? Jesus Christ! I love the history we've got with our youth team, but right now, can we focus on actually looking at the first team and then think of the youth team later? Instead of signing youth players who actually are unlikely never to work out. I mean, Chido Obi Kenobi is probably the next one if he actually gets more time, but Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Coventry are 1-0 up as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, up against Oxford as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely funny.
Yeah, Carl, I've just sent you a message on. I've just sent you a DM on Twitter. You'll see why Roberts has been sent off.
Let me see then. Bloody hell. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
If you want to share, then feel free. But yeah, that is a red card.
That bad, aye.
That's almost like Harold Schumacher from ages ago.
Oh, is it the running like knock the player out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, quality. Still the best World Cup tackle I've ever seen.
I know.
It is the best World Cup challenge ever, and I see people these days like it's funny. There's it's World Cups. It's your World Cup's greatest moments, World Cup's greatest shockers. And
Yeah,
Matea's been stretched off with a neck brace. I'm not surprised.
There's a line by Thierry Henry. He's asked about this. Like, every time I think of '82, we're gonna semi-final. We're gonna win the World Cup. We're gonna win it. But then against Germany, Harold Schumacher, and I'm like,
yeah,
he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, all he did was go for the ball, missed, and he knocked Battiston out.
I know.
I mean, there's much worse. I mean, fast forward 12 years later, the World Cup in '94. Leonardo's one of the best midfielders in the world, but he elbowed an American on Independence Day. I mean, what's worse? Like this is why I laugh at the modern game. Back then, if you wanted to get sent off, it had to be you throw the ball at the referee.
Yeah.
English midfielder, ironically enough. If you want to, exactly. If you want,
headbutt the referee like David Cutterell. Yeah.
Yeah. Back then there was kung fu kicks, there was karate chops, there was elbow strikes to the face, there was heavy chops. Back then, football used to be UFC. Like that was real football.
Dyer fighting on the pitch with it. Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. So I'm like, back then it was real football, and oh, me! Like back then, football used to be football, and now football's so soft that you can get you can get a red card just for falling down.
Mhm.
And I'm like, when can we just get the game back where men used to be men? I'm not saying the current generation of men are soft, but the current generation of football, the game's so protected that it doesn't feel like football anymore. Like the greatest players in football wouldn't succeed now. Like in terms of like the greatest like defenders of the game wouldn't succeed now because of how soft the game was, because they played it when it was still developing into a fast game, but it was still players were still physical. You would still get a bit of a leeway with European challenges. I think personally, and I don't know what you guys think, but for me personally, how football matches are refereed in the Champions League is how it should be levelled at international and club level in
No,
domestic football.
100% agree. I really do. I think the European side of it does it better, but when it compares to the English and Scottish combined, it's like
It's
yeah,
wimpish.
it's pish, utter pish. Yeah, exactly.
It's
I
like
think
I say for a joke, right? One of my pals, right? She's a good laugh, but I compare her to Superman at times because I think Superman's a bit of a coward with speaking out about things, right? Or just acting a separate way. And I say it to her for a joke, and she knows I say it for a joke. But I think the current game right now is just a bunch of Supermen, wimps. When the football game should be about a bunch of Batmans, no fear, and just play the game like you mean it. Have your emotion, have the energy. Still want to play like top level, top amazing football,
Who
but
was
don't
the French player that Harold Schumacher took out again?
Battiston.
yeah,
Battiston.
Yeah, he was through on goal and he got like proper like high knee to the face. That guy wanted to be a pro wrestler.
yeah.
Ha-
That's the bias I had. As well.
Harold Schumacher wants to be on the weekly steel chair. The way he's acting, the way he runs, it's a flying knee to the face. Like
Yeah,
I like the old days where, I mean, I can't physically play football at that level again because of my back. But I used to play like football like I meant it. If you were a dick on the field, you were going to get taken out.
yeah.
You can't do that anymore. And I'm like, I hate that it's football's actually close to becoming basketball, and nobody's wanting to admit it apart from the rare few that actually pay attention. Football is very close to becoming basketball. With you can barely, it won't be long before no contact in football, like zero
Oh, God,
football
that's
contact.
I
And if
know.
that happens, what's the point?
I know. Hey, this is why I'm an NFL fan. I stick to that's what. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
Oh, bloody hell.
you know what I
Do you
mean.
know
Like
what?
it's becoming so soft for contact.
Yeah. No.
It's that's not football. There should be allowed to be contact. Like why at all costs would you run from contact? Like the players aren't going to kill each other.
Preston are winning 1-0 against Burnley.
Excellent.
And Palace have just scored from a Jeffet Tanganga own goal. I take it he's on loan from Spurs.
No, he's
He's
not.
permanent.
No permanent deal now. He's left. He's got relief Spurs, so he's now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he joined.
Thought I recognised that name.
Yeah. No, he got released this past summer, the early last summer. So yeah.
Yeah.
No. You know what?
Well, this has been longer than we would have expected, but
Yeah.
I think it's
this has been a very
it's good.
nah.
I
Don't
like
worry
I
about
like I like good shows. I'm on later on as well on my own channel. I'm actually going to start using. You know me, like I use like Canva and all that stuff from and Vista Express for my thumbnails. I'm actually decided. You know what? I've signed up to Adobe properly on Photoshop, so I'm going to start using Photoshop for my thumbnails. So my dad done that.
That is actually cool. Actually.
Excellent.
Like obviously Doug knows, like my dad's a tattoo artist and all that, so he uses Photoshop all the time. And my dad went, "Do you want something like this?" I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Here you go." So this is actually my new channel banner. It's already on the channel. I've got like a basic like design right now, like that. Like my dad done that for a laugh,
Yeah.
but he's actually going to make something a bit more than that. But I'm going to do my own stuff, so I'm doing all that in preparation. So, this is me like just like getting firing in, like ready to go. So I'm doing all that. I'm going to go for a walk shortly, get some get some fresh air, get some
Are
juice.
you doing the elimination? Is elimination chamber tonight? Is it as well? Isn't it?
I'm previewing it, yeah.
Review, yeah. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna get a chance to watch it ahead of tonight, so because I might still watch it.
You're welcome to join the preview show if you want. You're welcome to join.
All right, I'll see what I'm doing then. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I normally do them quite early, but I thought the best thing to do. I don't like. Yeah, I thought my dad done that. Chris, like he thought it'd be better just to get the classic W logo. And I actually do like it. The good thing is, I can't get touched by WWE for copyright. They can't actually touch me over it because it's actually used freely, so it's actually not like damaging anything like that. And it's not monetized, but
Yeah.
I've got whole new music as well in my StreamYard. But I'm thinking I might start using EV Max. I quite like it. I'm just feeling around with it, but yes, I'm doing the preview show tonight. There's a lot of people who already want to be on it. If you want to be on it, dude, half seven
I'll
our
see
time.
what I'll do. Yeah, I'll see what I'll do, and I'll try. I'll try to join in anyway. So
Nice.
Arsenal fans, just stop. List of managers who have achieved 89 plus points in the history of the Premier League: Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, and Mikel Arteta. What do they have in common? They've all won the Premier League title at least once, bar the current Arsenal manager. This is why I have so much faith he will eventually win it. My manager until the end.
Oh yeah, they're a weird bunch.
yeah.
They are a weird bunch. I don't understand them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Let's finish this show. And do you know what, Reese? Thank you for joining as well.
Thanks for having me, boys.
No
I
way ever
really
can find
enjoyed it.
you on not
A
just one,
pleasure.
2 channels.
Yeah, so if you want me for my football takes and calling Arsenal and their fans cowards, you can you can find me on the World of Football podcast, where I really don't hold back. I treat every football club the way, even my own, the highest of standards. I don't believe in the top 4. I don't believe in the top 6 pish. It's either you win it or you fuck off. And that's how football is. If you're not in it to win it, go play badminton. That's how it is. And you can find me on my own channel, which is linked to my Twitch as well. So on Twitch, it's just the steel chair, similar to my Twitter handle. Steel chair with the chairs with a 1 in the handle, and on Twitter, on YouTube, sorry, it's the weekly steel chair.
Thank you very much, Doug. It's glad to see you back on for the first time in a few weeks. So, as I said, I know you've got some stuff that you're going to upload in the next couple of days as well. So, yeah.
No, it's good to be back on, and I obviously hope to be back on as much as I can as well. But no, you can find me at the Dugout Football channel on YouTube, and I'm just going to sort of have a good weekend. Obviously, the FA Cup, so the Reds are having a nice wee break until PSG on Wednesday, I think it is. So see what.
That's going to be an interesting that's going to be 2 interesting ties, like really interesting.
Absolutely, but no, thank you for having me, and big thanks to obviously Chris from Listen Till I Die and Reese for coming on this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure.
I've always wanted to get on this with you guys, so I'm glad you had me on that. I do have one last closing statement from me, which is obviously thank you to everyone that's watched, supporting the lads. They're good guys. Always subscribe to their channel. And also, it's not so controversial, but it's absolutely true. Bazball has lit up Kilmarnock. I'm only kidding. That's not my true statement. My true statement, and I stand by it. One, Jose Mourinho's going to manage at Ibrox for the first time.
Yeah.
With Fenerbahce, which is crazy. He would have done it with Chelsea if he hadn't left the Chelsea job, and the first time. And 2, the African Cup of Nations is a major tournament.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Because I thought to myself, what Jerry Carragher said and a few others, they can absolutely fuck off, right? Because
I don't understand it.
I do AFCON content.
I know, exactly. You do AFCON content, Doug. That's the thing. They lot can fuck off. Because especially because of me being from my background as an Afro-Caribbean, because of my African roots, you're telling me the AFCON is not a proper tournament. What compared to the Euro is? No, they can. Some people can absolutely fuck off.
It's harder to play. It's harder to play in AFCON or the Gold Cup than it is to play in the Euros. In the Euros, you get a
Exactly.
3 week. In the Euros, you get a 3 week break.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There are so many people who think AFCON liked the Napoli owner who didn't want to sign African players. They could all just fuck off completely.
Yeah, I know for a fact that's true. There are owners that don't particularly want to sign African players because of the African Cup of Nations. Here's a fun fact: you're allowed to stop players from going to these tournaments if you need those players. Like it's not hard. You know what I mean? Like it's like.
But they just throw the toys at the problem and realize they can't actually stop them. I mean, you know, Jesus Christ, you know.
I think the only issue I've got with the African Cup of Nations, and I've said this before, I think the only sad thing is, to be fair, it's not really their fault. It's climate reasons.
Yeah.
But I think the worst thing about the African Cup of Nations is when the African Cup of Nations is held. I've always voiced that. I don't like when it's held, but that's not their fault.
They will try to move in the summer, and also because everything what's been going on, they've had to move it back to the winter.
But I understand that it's in the winter because it's actually safer because it's not too cold, but it's colder than the summer climate.
Yeah.
But the African players are used to it, so it's not like they're going to say it's not much of an issue. But
I know.
I just think it's just offensive to say it's not a major tournament. You can say it's not the. I think if Jamie Carragher had said these exact words, nobody would have had a problem. If Jamie Carragher had said it's not the best international tournament in terms of level compared to the Euros or the Copa America, that would have been reasonable to say.
Yeah.
Nobody would have argued that. If he had said that it's not on the level of, say, the Euros or the Copa America in terms of that level of tournament,
we can understand that. But you go beyond it. You go beyond that. That's a problem.
Yeah, he went way too far, which I absolutely do not agree with. And I feel sorry for them because African Cup of Nations is a fun tournament. It is fun.
It is.
The games, obviously, watching them at like 3 o'clock in the morning is crazy, but if you're up for it, then do it. But it's fun. I like it. I enjoy it. So I don't know.
It's always controversial stuff. I just enjoy it. Yeah, this is what it needs. Don't you need that?
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, thank you very much as always. As I said, I should be back on tomorrow night, hopefully, to do the championship review, especially the teams that's still in the for the title race and also the relegation battles. But I am back on next Saturday at 11 o'clock here on the Saturday show. But great content as always, guys. All of you have a good weekend and enjoy the first month of March as well, the first day of March as well. Hopefully, the weather will be a lot more better in the next coming days. So, all of you, all have a good weekend. Take it for now. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.